All right, welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into a fantastic resource, Bill Vincent's Write, Edit, Publish, a comprehensive guide for authors. This one comes to us from RWG Publishing.
That's right.
And you asked us to pull out the key stuff, so our mission today is simple. Cut through all the noise and give you a clear roadmap to authorship. Doesn't matter if you're just thinking about starting or, maybe you're already writing and want to sharpen things up.
Yeah, and it's great because this guide, it really works to demystify what can feel like a very closed-off world, writing, publishing.
Total.
For a long time, it felt like you had to figure it all out on your own, unless you knew someone. Very mysterious.
Right, like some secret club.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this guide, it just lays it all out, step by step, from that first little idea spark all the way to holding the finished book. Makes it feel, well, possible for anyone.
And I love that it keeps reminding us, look, this whole journey, it can be fun. It should be fun, actually. It's not supposed to be just pure torture, right? It's about actually enjoying creating something. But, let's be real. Sometimes that fun gets buried under just the sheer work of it all, the doubt. Does Vincent talk about how to find that joy again when you're, stuck?
He does, yeah. But maybe more subtly. It's woven in by focusing on mastering the steps, giving you that clear path.
Yeah.
Well, that itself makes it less scary, right?
Okay, yeah.
When you feel empowered with the how-to, it naturally reduces the anxiety. And that makes room for the fun part, the creativity.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's kick off this deep dive. First big hurdle, the blank page. Always the blank page.
Ugh, yeah.
So Vincent's guide calls this the writing journey. And right off the bat, he challenges something we hear all the time. Get comfortable with rejection. What's his take?
Right, he offers this really powerful reframing. He says, look, what we call rejection in publishing is usually more like market evaluation or just someone's subjective opinion.
Market evaluation.
Yeah. So an agent says no. That's not them saying you are bad or your writing skill is bad. It's their take. Maybe it's a business call for them. Maybe it doesn't fit their current list.
Yeah.
It's not like the final word on your talent.
That's huge because rejection feels so personal.
Exactly.
If you can genuinely think market evaluation, it changes everything. It takes the sting out.
Right. And it shifts the focus. Why fear feedback? Improving an idea, polishing it. Yeah. That's often the easiest part to fix,
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of struggles, there's that weird thing writers do. We often hate writing, but we love having written.
Oh, absolutely. The resistance.
Yeah, Stephen Pressfield calls it resistance. That feeling where you'd rather, clean the grout with a toothbrush than actually write. I've definitely been there staring at the screen.
We all have.
So how does Vincent suggest we trick ourselves into actually doing it, overcome that inertia?
Well, it connects back to that reframing idea. The practical tips in the guide, they tap in to how our long-term memory actually works. He says, write for understanding. Don't just churn out words.
Okay, write for understanding. What does that mean, practically?
Think about how you structure it for the reader's brain, like you're building a mental map for them. If you organize your points clearly, maybe use headings, or think chronologically, you're creating these little cognitive hooks.
Ah, okay. Hooks.
Yeah. Those hooks help the reader store your ideas and then recall them later, much better than just a big wall of text. It makes reading feel like learning, not just, consuming info.
So you're making it user-friendly for their brain right from the start. And that ties into his idea of deep structure building.
Exactly. Think like an architect building a house.
Yeah.
You need a solid framework first, right? The foundation, the main supports. It's the same with writing. Build clear connections between ideas. Make sure the logic flows. Create this strong internal structure. That makes the whole thing solid, understandable, even if someone just skims it. The knowledge isn't just there. It's transferable, retrievable. And our long-term memory, it seems to be almost bottomless, but getting stuff out depends hugely on how it went in.
And it's funny, you're probably writing more than you think already, like emails, lists, notes.
Totally.
Your brain is organizing stuff, and all those experiences, ideas, everything you've gathered, that's all in your long-term memory. That's your real toolkit for writing.
Absolutely. And another key thing the guide pushes is developing what he calls an invisible style. But, first things first. You actually need enough to say.
Ah, yeah, that helps.
Readers want knowledge, or they want entertainment. If you haven't done the groundwork, haven't done the research, well, it shows. Research isn't some extra thing you do before writing. It's part of writing. Gathering that knowledge, that experience, is what gives your work depth.
Authenticity.
Okay, so you've got the substance, then it's the mechanics. getting the language right, spelling, grammar, rhythm, making sure the words themselves don't trip the reader up. Exactly. You want the language to serve the message, not get in the way.
So they just flow through it.
Right. That's the invisible style, like a clean window pane. The reader isn't looking at the glass, they're looking through it, totally absorbed in the view, the story, the ideas.
Like George Orwell, maybe. Very direct.
Perfect example. His prose is so clear, you focus completely on what he's saying, not how he's phrasing it. It's about choosing words, crafting sentences so carefully they feel natural, effortless, invisible.
Okay, now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Moving from writing it to refining it.
Yeah.
Editing. The guide is super clear on this. You absolutely cannot edit your own work effectively. It just won't work because, they're your words. They look fine to you.
You know what you meant to say.
Exactly. Even if it's not actually on the page, you'll kind of mentally fill in the gaps or, as the guide says, route around problems instead of fixing them.
It's so true. That's why the guide hammers home the need for other eyes, brains, and souls.
Yeah.
You need someone objective, someone fresh to read it. They're the ones who can spot where it drags, where it's unclear, where the emotion doesn't quite land. They help you make it as strong as it can possibly be. Your own brain just can't get that distance.
So true. Okay, so the guide breaks down editing into two main passes.
Literally, yeah. Two main types.
First is the first edit. This sounds like the big picture one. Structural,
Yeah.
comprehensive.
Right. The editor's looking at the whole thing, asking the big questions. Does it start right? Is the pacing okay? Are there scenes in here that maybe don't need to be?
Or parts that need more.
Exactly. Is the tone consistent? Are the characters fully developed? Does the plot make sense? And crucially, does the ending work? Is it satisfying? This is where you might get a whole new plan for organizing it.
Okay, that's the macro level. Then comes the second edit. This is the nitty-gritty.
Line by line, the fine-tooth comb.
Hunting down spelling errors, grammar mistakes, punctuation, cleaning up the formatting.
And paying attention to things like UK versus US English rules.
Yeah.
Like the spell check. Not enough. It misses so much.
Oh, definitely.
Plus consistency. Names, places, capitalization.
Yeah.
All that stuff needs to be nailed down. And making sure all the publishing bits are there. Front matter, back matter, copyright page.
All those important details. So how do you work best with an editor? The guide must cover that.
Yeah. It emphasizes giving them the cleanest manuscript possible to start with. Show them you respect their time and your own work.
Right.
Remember, their main job is to improve your book, make it better, not to rewrite it in their voice. They're there for coherence, fixing the small stuff, tidying up. A good editor has a light touch. They enhance, they don't take over.
It really sounds like a partnership,
Yeah.
a give and take. You need some humility, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Be open to the feedback. An experienced editor, they can take a good story and really make it great. And for anyone worried about editors meddling, a professional respects your voice. They want your book to shine.
Okay, that's really reassuring. So what does this all mean for you listening? We've covered getting started, writing, and then refining with editing. That's a huge chunk of the journey right there. If you're finding this deep dive helpful, just imagine what's in the full guide.
Absolutely. To get all the detailed insights, the practical advice for every single stage, writing, editing, publishing, marketing, even the legal stuff,
Yeah.
really do recommend checking out the full book, Write, Edit, Publish, a comprehensive guide for authors.
And you can grab your copy easily. Just visit the link to Amazon in our show notes. Go check it out. All right, so you've written the thing, you've edited the heck out of it, it's polished. What's the next step? Getting it out there right, publishing.
That's the next big piece. And the guide helps you figure out, okay, what do I do with this manuscript now? How do I format it? Which path do I take?
It's interesting, thinking historically.
Yeah. Traditional publishing used to be pretty much the only game in town. You needed an agent, or you just sent your manuscript out everywhere and hoped. Lots of waiting involved.
Ah, yeah, I bet. And the guide dives right into that big debate, traditional versus self-publishing. What's Vincent's view?
Well, he's pretty clear. He argues that for most authors, selling your book to a big publishing house is probably the best bet. Why? Because, he says, they do the best job. He points to authors like Stephen King as proof of that model's success.
Okay, that's a strong stance.
It is. But the guide also offers a really important counterpoint. It says, look, neither path is a magic bullet. Neither guarantees you'll succeed or fail.
Right.
The real key is what you do with the book after it exists. A self-published book should look just as professional as a traditionally published one.
But often doesn't.
Well, that's the challenge, he points out. If you self-publish, you're not just the author anymore. You're also the business manager. You're handling marketing, distribution, legal stuff, everything.
It's a lot to take on, and there were just so many choices now, aren't there? Big publisher, small press, find an agent, go it alone, self-publish. It's kind of overwhelming.
Totally. And the guide acknowledges that. It calls them important decisions and aims to give you the advice you need to navigate that landscape. Figure out what makes sense for your specific book.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Marketing. Getting noticed. The guide uses this really interesting comparison, Ronald Reagan's re-election strategy.
Yeah, it's about effective personality advertising, basically, making a connection. The point being, even the best book needs people to know it exists.
So how does that apply to us authors? Are we supposed to be like politicians?
Huh. Well, in a way, just like politicians ask for votes, the guide argues authors need to ask for the sale. Marketing demands the same simple directness.
Ask for the sale.
It's about seeing publishing as a team effort. The guide puts it nicely. How do you know a book is published? The publisher tells you. And when the author and publisher both are intent on success, you, the author, also tell me. Everyone has a role. Author writes, publisher publishes, reader discovers. Everyone wins when it works.
That makes sense. But asking for the sale still sounds a bit, I don't know, pushy. Especially for writers who might be more introverted. Does the guide suggest ways to do that without feeling awkward?
It's less about a hard sell, I think, and more about genuine engagement, like inviting people into your world. Vincent talks about building your platform, but not just as a sales tool. It's about building a community.
Okay. Like how?
Share bits of your process, maybe. Talk about the themes in your book. Connect with readers who like similar things. It's about building that trust, that enthusiasm first. Then, when you mention your book, it feels natural, like sharing something you're excited about with friends.
Right. Not just blasting links everywhere. And building that platform today often means social media, doesn't it?
Huge part of it, yeah. And the guide defines platform really well. It's not just having links out there. It's building a network of people who actually like your work, who might pay for it.
And it's not an extra job you do after writing.
No, it's ongoing. Part of being a writer today is growing that audience over time.
And social media is obviously a massive part of that. Even just having a small following shows publishers, hey, this person already has some readers. They have a way to reach people.
Exactly. And you probably have more of an audience than you think. If you're in online groups related to your genre, your topic, those people are potentially interested already.
Good point. Okay, final section, protecting your work, the legal and ethical side.
Super important, especially if you self-publish. You keep all the rights, but you must register your copyright properly. Get that paperwork filed.
And that protection lasts.
Typically, the author's life plus 70 years. And you need that protection because, unfortunately, lawsuits happen. Illegal downloads, issues with publishers, editors, other authors. You really need to know the basic laws.
And those laws give you specific rights, right? Like the right to copy the work, make adaptations.
Exactly. Reproduce, prepare derivative works, distribute, perform publicly. Those are yours, unless you sign an agreement transferring some or all of them to a publisher. That's standard in traditional deals. Often covers future books, too. International rights, media rights.
Then getting those rights back if you've signed them away can be tricky or expensive.
It can be, yeah. It's all in the contract.
So, practically speaking, how does this copyright stuff work day to day? I know in North America they say copyright is automatic once you create something.
It is, technically. Once it's fixed in a tangible form, saved on a drive, printed out on a server somewhere, you have copyright. But the whole world of copyright, fair use, especially online. The guide calls it the Wild West of the internet, which means, say you want to use a song lyric or a photo someone else took, you can't just grab it. You need to understand fair use, which can be murky, or better yet, get permission. And flip side, if someone uses your work, having that copyright registered makes defending your rights much, much easier. You need to know how to protect yourself and how to respect others' rights, especially if you're hiring freelancers or licensing images, that sort of thing.
Okay, that's a lot to think about, but crucial. So wrapping up, the guide has this great line. To write is to sell a ticket to escape or a manacle for forever.
Powerful, isn't it?
It really is. And this whole deep dive, the guide itself, it keeps coming back to this idea. Writing, editing, publishing, it can be enjoyable. It should be. It's not just about reviews or ratings. It's about your journey with it.
And think about the power you hold when you finally submit that work. You're setting wheels in motion, getting publishing teams engaged with your creation. That's a huge responsibility, but also a privilege. The ultimate goal, maybe creating something timeless, unforgettable, something that, as the guide says, changes the world just a little bit, just by adding your voice, preserving the written word.
So, thinking about that impact, what does this all mean for you listening? It's obviously more than just hitting publish. The guide makes you think, what does it really mean for a project to be done?
Yeah, that's a great question to leave people with. If we connect it all up, maybe done isn't just when you type the end. Maybe it's when your message actually reaches someone, when a student uses your work, or it influences a decision somewhere, or someone reviews it.
When it makes a connection.
Exactly. When your community acknowledges it. This whole process in the guide, the writing, editing, publishing, marketing, it's all preparing your work for that moment, getting it ready to make its mark.
So, for that deeper dive to get all the steps to make sure your work makes its mark, definitely grab your copy of Write, Edit, Publish, A Comprehensive Guide for Authors by Bill Vincent from RWG Publishing. The link to Amazon is right there in our show notes. Thank you so much for listening to the Deep Dive podcast. We really hope this exploration has given you some useful insights, maybe some encouragement, whether you're starting out or well on your way with your own author journey.